Greetings from New York. My name is Peter King Jr. Exciting news for you today. We are interviewing James Wang, CNBC contributor and investor at ARK-Invest. We're talking about artificial intelligence and what it means in the modern world. Let's go check it out.
Well, basically, even experts disagree whether it's 1.5, 3.5. So we're not trying to focus, try to figure out what's going to happen this quarter. Some of the print that came out is actually really, really good.
This is kind of where the questions come up for me, because when I read a lot about these new entrepreneurs or these not so new entrepreneurs, right? So I'll think of Elon Musk, for example, who talks a lot about how scared he is of AI, but then at the same time keeps investing in AI. So what's the strategy behind this? Why would someone want to continue investing in AI when there's so much fear behind it?
Oh, for Elon's perspective, his investments are from a perspective of AI safety. So he's not investing to kind of bring about the terror that he's fearing. He's investing to kind of have a framework so that it essentially try to guide the path of AI development to a beneficial outcome rather than a Terminator outcome. That's why he's involved in AI.
I'm thinking about Neuralink, right? Which is this chip that gets drilled into people's brains and that is supposed to help them become superhuman or make them have more abilities. So that can be a little bit scary for the neophyte. Do you think that that's something, first of all, that has a market, right? And how is that going to look from a business perspective?
First, I think it's important to ask, why is he building Neuralink?
Yeah.
Why would anyone want to have little probes drilled into their skulls?
I don't know if I'm ready for that yet.
Did you sign up to the beta? Are you on the waiting list?
No. I didn't even do the chip here. You know how they have the little biometric chip with all of like your medical information and everything? So,
well, just fast forward to the future, 20, 30 years, right? Computers are going to be 100,000 times more faster. Any kind of job that humans can do through rote labor or rote manual labor or mental labor is going to be maybe displaced to a large degree. Basically, if you're doing repetitive work of any kind, whether you're moving boxes from one side of the factory to the other, or you're copying tables from one Excel spreadsheet to another, any kind of work like that involve repetition and not a lot of creativity is going to be eventually automated. And it should, because no one should have to do boring stuff like that.
And Excel gets boring after a while.
So anyway, the kind of arc of history of technology is boring stuff is going to get displaced, and machines are improving exponentially, at least so far. And we are not improving. The last software upgrade we've had was like 100,000 years ago, right? You're no smarter biologically than the person in the Middle Ages, who's no smarter than the person in the Ming Dynasty.
Well, you think we communicate better at least with language and no?
Yes, but biologically, our genetics hasn't changed. Nature's evolution for genetics changed over hundreds of thousands of years, millions of years.
Got it.
We just invented technology like 300 years ago. So he is trying to make sure that technology doesn't kind of surpass us in a way where it just renders our hardware or software completely obsolete. And the thinking behind him, his ideas, and Sam Altman and others, is that the only way we can ensure our continued relevance is if we strap ourselves onto machine intelligence. So right now, we are already kind of strapped onto machine intelligence. Everyone has a little iPhone in their pocket, and it's nice, but it's very slow to interface with. You have to pick it up, you have to unlock it, you have to type very slowly. A Neuralink is basically a computer that's strapped directly into your brain, so that when you think, you basically think straight into the computer, and the computer can output into your brain.
Okay, so this is where it gets scary then, because that means where's the line where the computer or the chip starts to think for me, right? So when I think about my phone, I'm using my phone and I'm typing things, and then I'll have the autocorrect that'll come up, and then I'll have words that show up. So why wouldn't the chip just propose things to me and have some sort of targeted advertising straight to my brain?
It would. And I think in a lot of cases it should. You want other people to think for you. Do you want to be a Peter, do you want to be a do you want to be a big shot CEO someday?
Well, who wouldn't?
Yeah. And what happens when you're a big shot CEO? You have a bunch of like minions thinking for you and working for you while you're sleeping. It's awesome.
Yeah, but I also have to make a lot of decisions too.
You make the important decisions.
Yeah, but I would want to think that I made them out of my own free will, not because I've got some sort of targeted advertising Facebook ad in my brain.
We would all like to think that we got it out of our free will.
To make the world a better place. Like it can bring more peace and it can make people kind of work in more efficient ways. Mm-hmm. Do you think, first of all, that AI is going to make us work in more efficient ways? And two, does that help in bringing a more peaceful world? Is one of the consequences to bring more peace?
I think it will definitely make things far more efficient. The whole point of AI is automation for menial mental labor, right? Mm-hmm. All kinds of machinery that we've invented over the last 200 years is to kind of free us from menial physical labor so that not 99% of the population have to plow fields every day. It's not a good existence. When we displaced that job, it was a great thing. Great thing we got rid of the job called plowing fields. We have things called tractors now. Unfortunately, hundreds of millions of people today move data from one part of a computer to another and copy and paste things and type boring emails. Mm-hmm. All that will go away eventually. So that's great. But it will get rid of a bunch of jobs that people today identify as jobs. But once those jobs are done, you can just do other things. Just like, once we no longer plow fields, we've got on with other things. We just have to make sure that, there's enough time and enough support that people can get on and find better things. Peace, I don't know. Peace is kind of tricky. Like peace depends on human relations. I don't know if AI has much of a direct role to play.
Not yet.
Yeah, and people are a little concerned about AI-enabled weapon systems. I mean, that's a real kind of natural use case for image recognition.
Well, so I guess the weapons then would kind of lead us to maybe make more thoughtful decisions before we even choose to go to war or things like that.
Maybe. Or it could just be automated targeting systems, enemy, fire.
Do you think that AI is going to be taking away some of our jobs? So, a lot of the arguments that we can hear sometimes on both sides of the political spectrum is the fact that too much automation then brings a lack of jobs, and then people may not have the qualifications to work a new kind of job, when maybe in fact it's just going to allow us as human beings, like you were saying previously, to not do the more menial tasks, but do more of the creative work.
Oh yeah, automation will totally displace jobs, but that's not anything new. Jobs is not this fixed pool of here are 5 jobs and everyone in the world fights over those 5 jobs. Mm-hmm. Job categories are created as we speak. What you're doing now is not a job 100 years ago. There's no such thing as TV host 100 years ago. That's ridiculous. The only way you get there is to get to a point in society where not everyone has to plow fields or hammer steel in a factory so that other people with specific skills can come out and do new things. It's more valuable. So yeah, it will replace a lot of the jobs today, and that's easy to predict. What's hard to predict is what kind of new jobs will be created. Like Instagram influencer, no one caught that.
Which company is going to be the company that's going to create the best AI product and that's going to be able to monopolize the market? So right now we've got Apple, with all their devices. Do you think there's going to be another company that could submerge out of nowhere and really create that complete full product that we think we want or we're not fully aware yet of?
AI is software. When you look at the software industry, it's not ruled by one company. I mean, for a brief period in the 90s, it was kind of Microsoft. But if you look at today, it's 100, 200 very large cap software companies. No one owns the whole space. Use Google for search and use Amazon for cloud, use Salesforce for like business and customer management. I think AI will be more like that. No one is so far ahead of anyone, even by 2x. The world leaders of the large cap internet companies are within shoulder reach of each other. Like no one is way better than the other. So that's a good thing.
Do you think it will influence as well the way we look at politics, AI in some form?
I mean, it's already a huge political kind of hot button, right? Like how do we deal with automation? How do we regulate AI? The Europeans love regulating everything. I think they regulate their way to glory.
The Google tax, the drones.
So I think the political discourse will be around safety and regulation of policy.